cooks in the kitchen. We are going to make granola. This lovely, lovely snack food or breakfast food. And we are going to make this gluten-free and fairly low cholesterol. There are some things that you can do to contribute to these. For one, guaranteed gluten-free oats. We found these in the bulk section at the co-op. They're a little more expensive, but they will guarantee that they have not been processed with wheat. And that is, for us celiac people, a very important consideration. So I have 8 cups of oats. And then I have 2.5 cups of nuts. And I started with about a cup of slivered almonds. And then I chopped up 3/4 of a cup of pecans. Whoops, those are not pecans, those are cashews. Oh. And then 3/4 of a cup of pecans. And those are all just raw nuts. And
not salted.
Not salted, not cooked in any way. So we put those in, and then we need some seeds. And I have here about a cup of seeds. They usually would have more flax seeds, but I used up all the ones we had. So, you know, a 1/2 cup of pumpkin seeds, 1/2 cup of flax seeds. If you don't like flax seeds, you don't have to use them. And there is some, if you have things like diverticulitis or intestinal places where those flax seeds can get in and hide, they might not be that good for you. And then I have 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar to add into this. And then, for me, what really makes this is coconut. And this is your sweetened, shredded coconut. I was going to save out the bag and I didn't. I threw it away.
Well, that's like the kind you usually get for
the kind you put in
baking?
cookies, yeah. It really, to me, that really makes it when you get a hold of some of that. Now, it's a processed food, and it does use, it's probably sweetened actually with corn syrup, I would expect. I've tried to find other shredded coconut that was maybe a little more, a little better for you, and I have not had any luck at all. I found other forms of coconut that says it's shredded, but they're just little bits and they're just not as good. So now we're going to stir this all together, and I have to say that coconut is not necessarily going to be good for the cholesterol, low cholesterol part of this. It's okay to eat a little bit of coconut, but it's definitely the highest cholesterol ingredient in this. But I tell you, for me, it's just not as good without it. So.
It's not going to give that up.
No, I'll go with a little bit. And you know, if after a few months of this kind of diet, my cholesterol isn't lower, well, I might have to give it up. But I think I'm going to be able to lower cholesterol pretty quickly here. So, you know, you don't eat the beef fat, the pig fat, as many eggs. You don't have to give up everything. But so there's our basic dry ingredients. Now, here is where you can use your own sense of taste, and you can really change the flavor profile of your granola easily by what spices you put in. I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of cinnamon, and I generally heap those for the cinnamon because that right there is, I want that to be my main spice in here. But the other one that I really like is cardamom. And I'm going to put in 1 tablespoon of cardamom. And you can, you know, now we're starting to get to our slightly more exotic flavors, but to get even more exotic, I like Garam Masala. And I make my own. There's a video, Two Cooks in the Kitchen video on Garam Masala. This adds a really complex bunch of flavors to this. That's really good. And I'm gonna put in some nutmeg, and only about a half a tablespoon. Nutmeg can really overpower all the other spices if you put too much in. And then we are just gonna mix this up and move on to our wet ingredients. So far, not too difficult, right? And okay, so there you have it. Now for our wet ingredients, we are going to use 3/4 of a cup of oil. Now I'm using peanut oil because of the flavor it adds to this. You can use any oil, of course. Coconut oil is the highest in cholesterol. Olive oil is the lowest. Peanut oil is pretty good as far as cholesterol goes. So we're sticking with it. And then maple syrup, 3/4 of a cup. And the trick here is if you do the oil first, all the maple syrup comes out of your measuring cup. And then to these, we're going to add 1.5 teaspoons of salt. And then all we need to do here is mix this. And then we're going to add this to our dry ingredients. And I like to do this in a little at a time, or like maybe 3 pours, so I can get it mixed in really well. And we just keep mixing.
That nice big bowl, huh?
Yes, it is. You could have a bigger bowl. I just have this little trick I do at the end because we have 2 big bowls. So I just try and mix it as well as I can here without slopping it over onto the counter. And now in with, I guess, let's see if it's all the rest. Yeah, might as well go in with the rest. And I'm gonna get a scraper because I don't want to miss any of it. Now, of course, you can, depending on your taste, you can adjust the amount of sweetener. You could adjust the amount of oil, I suppose, but I don't know that I would recommend that.
Probably cut it the whole thing in half too, right?
You certainly can just cut this recipe in half. If I'm going to go through the trouble of making this, I just want to make a lot because it stores easily and it lasts a long time if you store it in an airtight container. All right, so I've got this mixed fairly well. However, I don't feel like I get it mixed well enough. So, to get everything off the bottom, what I like to do is just pour it off into another bowl. You see there's stuff down there that wasn't mixed, and look at all the spices on the bottom. And that I find is typically the case, and I don't want to find that out when I'm pouring it in my pan to bake. So now it's, you know, it's definitely all going to get mixed. All right, so all that's left is the baking, and I need to clear some counter space, so we'll come back. So I have preheated my oven to 250 degrees. I have put some oil on some, what are these, sheet cake pans?
Yeah.
And I'm going to put about half of this mixture into each pan. And I've found for me that if I just don't try and do it all at once, I can get half much better. See what I've got, you know, and then fill it up. Oh, so then we do want these pretty even because we're going to bake them at the same time. So now I'm going to pack it down into a fairly even layer, and I do like to pack it. So here, here's some of the variables when you cook this. I like to have big chunks in my yogurt, and yogurt.
You got yogurt on the mind.
Yeah, in my granola. So I like to really pack this down and not stir it when it's baking. If you prefer a crumblier granola, you don't have to pack it so tight. Just try and get it to an even layer, and then also stir it every time you take it out of the oven and turn the pan, which we're going to do frequently. So that's just another variable depending on your taste. It's the nice thing about making your own yogurt.
Yeah, you said it again.
Yogurt, wow.
Because we're going to make some yogurt one of these days.
Yeah, we're talking about it. The nice thing about making your own granola is you can just really make it how you like it. And, okay, so these are kind of even. I'm just going to distribute the rest of this. And waste not, want not. Scrape the rest out. Okay, so these are going to go in the oven, or 250 degree oven, and every 30 minutes I'm going to rotate the rack and rotate the pan. So, and they're going to cook for 2 hours. And that's all there is to it. So let's get them in. There we go. Set the timer for 30 minutes. And we're off. Okay. All right, there's our first 30 minutes. Boom. I'm going to take these and rotate them and turn the pan just to try to make sure I get an even cook here. See, they don't even look very brown at this point. But that's it. And then we go in for another 30 minutes. All right, this has been cooking for 2 hours. We're going to take it out. And this is going to cool now for a while before we try and do anything else with it. You can't really tell, it's a little bit brown. It's definitely cooked. It smells really good. So we'll come back after it cools a bit and see what we got. Okay, so it's all done. You just go through here and see, since I didn't stir it, I get some chunks. It'll break up more than that as it goes along here. But now, at this point, after it's cooked, we usually put on some, like a couple of cups of currants or some kind of dried fruit. We're out of currants, and we just don't really have anything I think is appropriate for what we're going to end up using this granola for. So we're just totally skipping it. But you know, it's up to you. You could put raisins, dried cranberries, whatever.
A mixture of any of those.
But it came out really good. The coconut comes through. It's crunchy, as it should be. So there you have it. Thanks for watching Two Cooks in the Kitchen, and we'll see you next time.